Well, hi there and welcome along to Friday Night Lights. I'm Tom Malone, joined this week by Brendan Duke, down the outside, and Johnny Ward, as always. We well?
Good form, thanks, Tom. Yeah, yourself?
Good stuff, good stuff. Reverting to the all-weather now, Dukey.
Yes, I am.
A tough transition for you?
I thought it was pretty tricky, but of course, 24-hour decks are the really tricky thing. But I looked at 4 horses last night, and all 4 are declared, so that's good news.
No, that's as good a result as you're going to get, really, at this stage of the week, isn't it? Right, we'll start off with the 6 o'clock at Sprint Handicap here. Johnny, you think this could be set up for one?
Yeah, maybe not the one you think, but our old friend Geological, he's never won over 5 furlongs. He's won from 6 to a mile, and I suppose you could write a book on him. He was bought for less than $1,000 and he's won like 150 grand or something like that. But this could be his night because I don't think this is a strong race. Having said that, he's drawn 4. If Amanat can just track him and get a toe into the race from Shane Cross, he's pretty well handicapped. His Navan run there about 6 weeks ago would be good enough to win this. It's not a particularly strong race. I know you like one in it for similar reasons to me, but if Geological can't win, if he is to win over 5 furlongs, this might be his night. But Dennis Hogan's horse are in good nick, and Amanat really should be up to win this race. He's a terrible win record, but I don't think he's ungenuine.
Yeah, Nig Bay, basically for the exact same reasons that Geological could set it up for him. I think, Dukey, you were kind of a similar ilk.
Yes, he's a very strong traveller, this Nig Bay. I spotted him on his comeback. He was quite progressive earlier in the year, as befits a horse who's only had 12 runs. And then whether he had a setback or they were just waiting for ground, I don't know. But they gave him a little break. Came back in Navan in October, travelled like a dream, probably blew up, and by Exceeding Excel, maybe the ground just blunted him a little bit. Should strict fitter here, has to go close off a mark in the mid-70s.
Yeah, I agree. Right, at 6:30 we have an Apprentice Nursery, Dukey, and one of your 4 is in this.
Yeah,
I'm interested to know what this is now.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's a bit of a cliff horse, this Commodus. So I caught her when she was running on over 5 furlongs in Navan, and as befits her pedigree, she's by Australia. I can't remember the dam sire now, but it's a fairly stamina-laden pedigree. And he thought she wants further, so then she's up to 7 the next day in Leopardstown, back to her in Leopardstown, again running on. Then she goes to 1.5 miles a furlong and go, and I thought, well, this is it, load the pony, get it all back. And I don't know whether the ground blunted her speed. She was a little bit interfered with. The ground blunted her speed. She's by Australia, maybe she wants better ground. Then she comes back here over 6 furlongs in Dundalk, travelled pretty well, got a bit interfered with. So a mile on a decent surface in Dundalk. She's top weight in the Nursery. The stars have along. This is a boat race, so everything looks perfect for her. But I realise I have made a lot of excuses there. But this is the last time. If she can't win tomorrow, that's it. She's off the list.
Okay, I was hoping for a Gladiator quote there, but nothing. Okay, one of your horses, by the way, to follow, upcoming in the 7 o'clock. This girl, I mean, the next best in the race is officially rated 85. If your predictions are to come true, she should be better than that, shouldn't she?
Yeah. I think Dramatise should be pretty short. Now, interestingly, I thought she went in a big price of 20 to 1 in at Billy's listed race there a couple of weeks ago, but she was a lot bigger price on the machine come the off. Now, it turns out she didn't run. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think she went in the stalls, but then 2 of them were withdrawn down at the start, and it's at that angle in Dundalk where you can see the stalls, but you can't actually see anything. It's very odd. So I don't know what happened. Hopefully she doesn't have any issues with the stalls, and if she goes into them fine and comes out of them fine, she should win this with her head in her chest.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You're going to follow up on the Maiden as well. Actually, you may as well stick it to while you're on the roll here, Dukey, because in the 7:30 you've got one as well.
Ah, yes, Wajaha.
Yeah.
Very interesting horse. This Dennis Hogan, a trainer on the rise, I am assured, and that would be evidenced by the fact that someone gave him 56,000 guineas to spend on a horse at the Horses and Training sale, and he plumped for this Wajaha out of the Side Bin Soror yard. Good yard to buy out because Side Bin Soror to anyone is a trainer upgrade. So we'll expect Hogan to do better with this. I imagine they bought him as a national hunt prospect.
You'd imagine so.
But this doesn't look a strong maiden at all. His mark in the mid-80s looks fair. His maiden that he was second in Kempton worked out quite well. And he was beaten by a horse on a roll in a 17-runner handicap in Pontefract the last day. If he ran to a mark of 80, he should be winning this.
Would you be putting anyone off that selection, Johnny?
No, it's a weak maiden. The horses with form are going to run to something around 70.
Yeah.
He just needs to, I'd say 80 will do, and he mightn't be the worst purchase in the world.
No.
Quite a few horses for that owner, including Amanat. Yeah, that I thought was a weak Maiden.
Yeah, on to the handicap then, the 0 to 100 handicap here, and Massive Central. Look, he's obviously not been the horse they'd hoped he was when they paid, what, 200 grand from it, that boutique sale on Irish Champions Weekend. But this is by far the weakest race he's contested at this venue where he actually has a good record.
Yeah, he has a class edge. I mean, he's only £1 clear of Jim Canna, but Jim Canna's really struggling at the moment. So I'd say we could put a line through him. And if that's the case, he's £8 clear of the third highest weighted horse. So he would look to have a big class edge. Yeah,
his last 2 runs over course and distance were in listed and Group 3 company. So you'd think this should be a winnable opportunity for, so it's the king of Dundalk, really, McAlford. Could you put anything up against him, Johnny? Would we just be avoiding this race? Would just be winning?
You know, you look at the likes of Nimitz, who Nimitz at least will give his running. This is a much higher class of race, and he's used to. But Nimitz will run well, and he really loves this surface. A lot of them just serious question marks against him at the moment in general form.
Right, Johnny, you have one for us in the lucky last, the 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I have one in the nursery as well.
Oh, sorry.
The reason I go back to that is because Commodus, I was going to nap this horse, and then the more I looked at it, it's drawn 14. She was definitely unlucky last week. I followed her closely. King's Vow, the stablemate. This horse is really interesting. He's actually going to have the assistance of Shane Cross. Now, I don't know how the jockey bookings work here for Joseph, but this horse is blinkers for the first time. It's by Frankel. It's drawn 3. Must be one of the more modest Frankels to have run so far, because his horses just generally seem to be at least up to win the Maiden. And this horse has taken the eye in a couple of maidens. On debut at Dundalk, Goran in particular, has been pretty slow out of the gates, but I'd say he just might be a bit woken up here. And I thought it was a pretty poor nursery, actually. I think the horse of, obviously Commodus is interesting, but there was a horse behind Commodus last day, Guiding, who actually might reverse the form, a filly by Most Improved, who would appreciate stepping up and trip. But I think King's Vow is worth chancing, because he's probably just more to offer. And in the penultimate race, Brockapondo for Johnny Levins, he's been a great stick. He's down to a mark of 55. The strange thing about this, they've divided this maiden, but one of them is way stronger than the other. Like the second one, I literally couldn't pick anything. I was looking at Attackaton, the top weight, who could be a little bit ahead of that. She's quite well bred. But you've Brockapondo, Lady Kimberly, who was disappointed when I tipped her last week, and Joseph O'Brien's horse has headgear on for the first time, Shadow 7. He went off favourite in that race. But Brockapondo ran best, and he's drawn 6. He knows this place like the back of his hand, and he certainly wouldn't be winning out of turn. I think he's a good chance for Dun O'Connor.
Yeah, I wouldn't put you off Danehill Quest against him as well for Sheila Lavery. He didn't run too badly last time out against Rip Stream. Kind of won the race within the race. But yeah, right, let's get on to our best bets of the week then for Friday Night Lights. Go on, Juki, you're a guest. We'll start with you. Best bet.
7:30 with Jaha. I find
best bet.
Nearly impossible to see this getting beat. Won't be much of a prize, granted. The 6 o'clock, I'll make up a Trixie. The 6 o'clock, Nig Bay, and in the 6:30, Commodus.
Okie doke. Johnny?
6 o'clock, Amanat is, I think, my bet of the night. King's Vow, it's a tricky one, but I'm going to back this horse in the next few runs. King's Vow on the 6:30, and the old boy Brockapondo in the 8:30.
Okie doke. Right, I'm going with Dramatise in the 7 o'clock, Massive Central in the 8 o'clock, and Danehill Quest in the 8:30. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week, but more Friday Night Lights.